This is Nesson, your ticket to New England sports.
They make up one of the finest rookie classes in NASCAR history, each with a different background. This driver, a native of Indiana, brought years of open-wheel racing experience to his NASCAR career, while this Texas native, the 1991 Busch Series champion, followed his brother's lead into the Winston Cup Series. And this driver from Missouri used to prepare cars for his racing brother before launching his own successful career. And tonight, you get to meet NASCAR's 1993 rookie class, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace on This Week in NASCAR. And now, from the Paramount Theater in Bristol, Tennessee, here's the host of This Week in NASCAR, Eli Gold.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Paramount Theater here in Bristol, Tennessee, a magnificent building opening back in the 1930s. Over the last couple of years, this theater has been rebuilt, renovated to the tune of $2.5 million. And this evening, some 750 NASCAR race fans joining us here for This Week in NASCAR. We welcome you into the show. We thank all the folks here at the Paramount Theater, all the fine folks at Food City who've made this show possible this evening. If you'd like to join us on the phone line and throw a question in the direction of our special guests, the phones are open toll-free right now at 1-800-292-5551. That's the number to put you in touch with us tonight here in Bristol, Tennessee. As far as the news of this week is concerned, actually, let's start with the news of this day. It's been quite a party all day long here in Bristol. The Food City Family Race Day activities took place this afternoon and this evening. There's just part of the crowd. Estimates say better than 20 to 25,000 fans jamming State Street here in Bristol. They took a look at all the NASCAR show cars, the drivers on hand to sign autographs. Many of those folks staying on hand to join us here this evening at the Paramount Theater. Earlier in the week, as far as actual racing news, turned out to be quite a celebration for Ward Burton, the young driver from South Boston, Virginia, announcing on Tuesday of this week that he'll be going Winston Cup racing in 1994. Hardee's is the sponsor. The folks from the Hoosier Tire Company will be responsible for the racing tires. It will be car number 31 when they debut next year in time for Speed Weeks 1994. So that's the news as far as the week is concerned. Now a special welcome to our gentleman joining us here tonight. And if you ever had any concern as to where the future of NASCAR was coming from, where the talented young drivers are, you need look no further than Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace. Gentlemen, good to have you here tonight. Thank you. This really is a very talented group of drivers, all of whom graduate from the NASCAR Busch Series and step up now as far as Winston Cup racing is concerned. I think before we go any further, let's establish how you're feeling, Kenny. The folks obviously see you there with the splint on your arm, and I want to take you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It looked for a while there during that test at Indy that you might even save that Dirt Devil Pontiac, but it caught that wall, then the head end of pit road, and you end up with the shoulder blade injury. How you feeling?
Well, you know, I'm feeling pretty decent right now, but I'm sore, and that's one of the first times I really got to see it. I haven't seen it too many times, but it was just a situation where we were racing pretty hard, and the car was handling good, and got to racing with Musgrave and Lake Speed, and Dale Jarrett come up off that corner, got a little bit loose, and what we're going to do is I'm going to run till the first caution flag here at Bristol, and we're going to put Dick Trizzle in the car, and then I think we'll be okay for Darlington, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
You know, as much as everybody was thinking about the test at Indianapolis, I don't think it was any more special than it was for you, Jeff Gordon. You grew up literally in the shadow of that fine brickyard, and you were smiling, shoulder-to-shoulder smiles all day long, and Tuesday as well of last week.
I had a great time. It meant a lot to me because I've grown up around Indiana, and I've been to the Indianapolis 500 a few times. I've been around the month of May and really know what goes on there. So I think just the prestige and the history behind the racetrack really came out to me when I got to make that first lap, and all the people that were there. It was just incredible.
And for you, Bobby Labonte, this year has really been two distinct halves. The first half of the season, a learning process, but from the New Hampshire race, July 11th, on to this point, we have seen the success rate just skyrocket for the team.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, it's, I can't really put my finger on exactly what's happened, but just everything's really come together, and, you know, really glad to see it. You know, we just have had a few good races, and we want to keep it going and for as long as we can to try to beat this guy. But,
I hear you.
Sometimes I'm trying to beat him every now and then.
This guy is Jeff Gordon. That's Bobby Labonte. Kenny Wallace joining us as well. Again, the phone lines are open to you toll-free at 1-800-292-5551. We break away now from this majestic Paramount Theater here in Bristol, Tennessee. As soon as we come back, your calls on This Week in NASCAR. Stay with us.
NASCAR is brought to you by smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light, by the heartbeat of America Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer, and by Kendall Motor Oil. Pour in the protection.
What is a mountain man's natural environment? Let's explore. A mountain man enjoys peaceful surroundings, a place where gentle winds blow, and the beauty of nature is all about. Only here does the mountain man find true happiness with a smooth Busch beer or an easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and find out how the true mountain man can make any environment a more natural one.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. There isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
Okay, Dad. I'll never forget my first oil change. For more than 5 generations, people have trusted Kendall Motor Oil to protect their engines. Today's Kendall protects better than ever.
Car is a pretty big responsibility.
Yeah?
And this is the key.
Hey, Charlene. Did you put the drain plug back in, son?
That day, I learned something about motors and motor oil.
What's that look like?
And to be sure to put the drain plug back. Look for the newest members of the Kendall NASCAR racing team, Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace.
When you own a classic car like this, it pays to take care of it. The best gas, the best oil, the best tires, and the best car care products. The Wax Shop. How do I know they're the best? That's how I know. The Wax Shop is used by those who demand the best.
The Wax Shop. The pros use them because they're easy and they work. Find out for yourself why the Wax Shop is #1 in customer satisfaction.
Back with you on This Week in NASCAR, and we talk about smiles from Jeff Gordon. That's the Gatorade Twin 125 at Daytona with Bill Elliott and Kyle Petty and the best in the business behind you, Jeff. That was quite a day.
Well, it sure was. One I never expected to have at Daytona. You know, I'd ran decent there before, but never anything like that. And, you know, that crew, they were awful excited. They worked real hard for that, and it paid off.
Yeah. What was your honest expectation this season when you opened up 1993? Where did you hope to be? What's today's date? The 26th of August. Where did you hope to be on this date?
Well, I didn't expect, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, you're a rookie going into your first season in Winston Cup. I'd driven like a half of one race at Atlanta, and, you know, basically, we had just tried to put the best of cars underneath me that we could, and test as much as we could over the winter. And things went well, but it's still, you don't know what to expect. And we just went into it making, you know, we want to get to our first top 15, then first top 10, top 5. You know, we wanted to work like that. And then we come out at Daytona and win the 125 and finish 5th. You know, we had to change all of our goals for the rest of the season.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing's wrong with that. Well, I never expected to be where we are right now. It's been an incredible season.
Krista is joining us here at the Paramount Theater. She's from Abington, Virginia, with a question. Good evening.
Hi, my question is directed toward Kenny Wallace. I was wondering if you have secured a sponsor since Dirt Devil has pulled out.
Well, it's one of those deals where, like, I'm not at liberty to say, but things are looking really good. We have worked really hard and Felix, you know, is a great businessman and has a lot of people that he knows. And I would say towards the end of this month or around Richmond time, you know, we might be able to announce something. Well, we just don't know yet.
Right now, we go to the telephones with folks' questions from across the country. 1-800-292-5551. Mike in Troy, Michigan, watching on the pass system, is up first. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Eli. How you doing?
Great, thank you.
Great show. Watch every week. I have two questions for you. First, I'd like to congratulate all the rookies. I'd like to say good luck to Bobby. He's in the right car. He's in a Ford. However, I heard about restricted plate racing at Michigan, Charlotte, and Atlanta. And my second question is also heard that Steve Mill from Roush Racing is leaving. And could you give me some information on that?
Well, certainly the rumor mill has had Steve's name in it at different times, but at least as far as he shared with us on this program 1 week ago at Indianapolis, everything seems, at least for the time being, to be staying as is. As far as restrictor plate racing is concerned, now with the proposed additions of Michigan, Charlotte, and Atlanta, have you fellas learned to embrace that element of racing yet any better, Bobby?
Well, from the last race at Talladega with the restrictor plate, it wouldn't bother me none because we ran pretty good.
You had a super run.
So we're looking forward to it. No, I don't know. Really haven't thought about it a whole lot because I think everything's still in the works, and when we get to Charlotte, we'll know what they're going to do. I guess it hadn't really heard much concrete stuff yet, and just have to do what they want us to do.
Now to Ann joining us on the phone from Elizabethton, Tennessee. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to say this is a great rookie race they've got going, and hello to all the guys. And nothing against you, Jeff, but we've got an 8-year-old that's in love with Kenny. And I'm a big Labonte fan. So, Bobby, we saw you win your first 5th Grand National at Bristol and wanted to know what you thought about the track and hope you do really good tomorrow because we're going to be rooting for you.
Well, it seemed like I did better when it was asphalt. I think both times on concrete I've hit the wall, and chances are, well, no, we won't go into that. But I haven't had too good success with concrete, but I always liked the racetrack. I did win here in 1991, and Jeff was finished 3rd, I think, behind me one time. I finished 2nd the following race. So I like the racetrack. It's really neat. Just have to go for better luck tomorrow.
Was it ever a thought not to go NASCAR racing for you, Jeff, in light of your USAC Silver Crown titles and all the other open wheel experience? Were you geared originally, or was somebody's master plan originally gearing you towards the Brickyard and to IndyCar racing?
I don't think there is a master plan. I think that you just kind of, you know, play it week by week or whatever. You just try to plan your year out, whatever you're doing with it. You know, open wheel racing could be ASA. It could be anything, and I think that you're destined to go wherever you're gonna go. But I think when the opportunities open up, you know, you got to take what you have there in front of you and take the best opportunity. The opportunity came to me with NASCAR, and it was by far the best one. You know, I don't know what would have happened if I would have had an opportunity in IndyCar and in NASCAR. You know, that would have been an even tougher decision than the one I had to make last May. So, you know, we just have to see what we just had to see what was going to come to us, but it happened to be with NASCAR, and I wouldn't want it to be any different.
Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace, the guests this evening. We're going to break away right here and then come back to more of your calls. As we do leave you, let's take a look at the Winston Cup point standings, positions 1 through 10, heading into the Bud 500 at Bristol here on Saturday night. Take a look. We'll be right back.
Years ago, Dunkin' Donuts made the freshest donuts you could buy.
I still do, in up to 52 varieties. But I made them fresh, day and night. I still do. Really?
Dunkin' Donuts, the freshest then, the freshest now. Now even losing lottery tickets are worth some dough.
Bring in any non-winning lottery ticket to participating Dunkin' Donuts and get $1 off. A dozen donuts.
Sometimes life seems more complete when you're with the one you love. A healthy head of hair can give you the added confidence to enjoy life to the fullest. If you're looking for the answer to your hair loss, call Pro Hair Medical Group today. Pro Hair Medical Group treats all causes of hair loss for men and women, and they are experts in the field of microsurgical hair transplantation that will grow hair for the rest of your life. Get the facts. Call Pro Hair Medical Group now for a free consultation.
Every week, the Coors Sports Forum presents interesting and intelligent guests discussing what they know best, sports. So join host Al Troutwig Sunday evening at 5:30 for the Coors Sports Forum on Nesson, your ticket to the best in sports talk.
The Dirt Devil Pontiac in action at Dover Downs International Speedway. It seems the tougher the racetrack, Kenny Wallace, the better you have run this year. That's been an interesting MO for you here in this 1993 season.
Well, Eli, that's because the races are longer and more people fall out.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
It's a deal where sometimes, you know, I guess the longer the races are, like Dover, you know, I guess I've always had an approach to where when the green flag drops on a 500-mile race at Dover, you got to try to run with the pace the leaders got. You know, if you're going down the back straightaway and you look over and you see them going down the front straightaway, you know you better get going a little bit harder. But I found out that even when you got a good car, you got to try to run to the front and take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't get a car to get there, or you can't get there, best approach to take is, you know, keep the car underneath you all day long. And Dover's one of those places that it paid off when I didn't have a car, or I couldn't, you know, run in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. We want to welcome our New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut viewers now, checking in on the Madison Square Garden Network. We're in Bristol, Tennessee tonight with Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace. Our next caller is out in the state of Oklahoma, John in Locust Grove, Oklahoma. Hello.
Hello, Eli. And I just had a question to ask all three of the drivers.
Sure.
What I was wondering is, you know, Arnie Irvin, they say, is leaving the Kodak car and going over to Texaco. I've seen him get out of the car many times with his Chevrolet cap on and brag about it. And I just was wondering, how many of those drivers do you think that are really loyal to their, you know, to the Chevrolet or to Ford? And how many of them do you think that would just change in a minute if they got the opportunity?
Well, why don't we flip a coin here and see who wants to answer that first? But in all seriousness, we've seen brand changes from this panel right here, and I know, Jeff, it was a tough decision for you. It was not easy when you left Ford and hooked on with Chevrolet.
No, it was probably the worst time of my life. You know, that was a difficult time for me. It was a tough decision to make. I think what happens, and I think, you know, I can't speak for Ernie, but you've really got to look at the team, the whole, you know, the whole combination. And Rick Hendrick had a team that was very strong and one that I wanted to join. And I think that, you know, even though it was a different manufacturer, it really was the one that I wanted to go to. And I plan on being with Rick Hendrick for a long, long time.
Sure. If
Rick Hendrick's going to be Chevrolet, then I want to be in Chevrolet. And I think that it's going to be a Chevrolet for a long time.
I think one of the interesting sidelights to all of that also is a lot of fellows seem to have been loyal particularly to Michael Kranofus or a particular person at a particular company. Wally Dallenbach, very powerful guy certainly at Ford. Now he's retiring, and Wally Dallenbach brought that up on this show a few weeks ago in Michigan. He said, you know, if things change, that he goes to a different type of car, he might not feel quite as uncomfortable now that Michael has retired to pursue ownership of his own racing team. Let's go right back to the phone lines, and Randy is up next with a question from Denver, Colorado, watching on Prime Sports Rocky Mountain. Hello.
Hello, Eli.
Good evening.
Hi, rookies, Jeff, Kenny, and Bobby. I want to first wish you guys the best of luck in the Rookie Points Challenge, and I have two questions. The first one is for Eli, the second one is for the rookie. Eli, has there been any thought to retiring car numbers like Richard Petty, Davey Allison's, and Alan Kowicki's out of respect for him? And for the rookies, What is the procedure to make you eligible to race in a NASCAR event?
Okay, as far as retiring numbers, NASCAR has not really gone in that direction over the years. There have been some great champions who have passed away or who have stepped down, in the case of Richard Petty, certainly. But NASCAR has not taken it upon themselves to retire numbers. One thing, you only have a finite number of numbers that are available. You've only got 1 through 99 plus the 0, 00 through 09. So if you start retiring a lot of numbers, you end up potentially years down the road with a numerical problem. But right now, NASCAR has not gone in that direction, although I certainly understand where your question is coming from. As far as going NASCAR racing, we established at the outset of the show that you fellows had varied backgrounds. When do you just know when you're ready? I mean, can you sense that? You built cars for Rusty, your brother, for so many years. Was it that you were impatient to try it yourself, or did you finally feel, man, I know I can do it, let's get with it?
Well, I think it's the opportunity when it knocks on the door. I was in ASA for 3 years, and hopefully I was wanting to get down south to run the Busch Grand National Series. To really go into Winston Cup, you just can't really just go in there at any time you want. NASCAR has mandated a rule in the Busch Grand National Series, as they did with me. I had to run a track bigger than a half mile, and they had to notice me how I drive to go to Daytona. And that's where Dale Earnhardt was the one who got me into the Busch Grand National Series.
Right.
And let me run Martinsville, and they watched me and pretty well approved me for Daytona.
Bobby, was there ever any thought that you would do something other than go racing, or the fact that it was the family business? Because we've talked to Dale Jarrett on this show. He said, you know, I was close to pursuing a PGA golf career. How about yourself? Is there anything else like that?
No, I don't think so. I grew up in South Texas knowing race cars and stock cars. My dad always worked on them. Terry raced quarter midgets, and I went to quarter midgets, and then he went to stock cars, and then I went to stock cars, and then he went Winston Cup, and now I'm there. So there wasn't really much in between to do.
I should mention, even though you might not be ready for the PGA Tour, I understand your foursome won the golf tournament here today.
Yeah, we had a good day out the golf tournament they had here for the race. So we're starting the weekend out right already. We had a good day, won that. I don't know if it wasn't because of the way I hit the ball, I guarantee that.
We're spending time this evening with the rookie crop for 1993. We'll break away here, but as we do, a reminder about our next couple of shows on This Week in NASCAR. From dealing with some first-year drivers tonight, we'll go to one of the great veterans next week as we head to Darlington. Cale Yarborough, kind enough to open the doors of his home to us in Olathe, South Carolina. Cale will be the guest next Thursday evening here on This Week in NASCAR. And in 2 weeks, on to Richmond, Virginia, the Holiday Inn Airport. We'd love to see you there in person, so come on by and say hello. Or if not, join us right here on Prime Network. As we break away, let's take a further look at the Winston Cup point standings. Here's positions 11 through 20 heading into Saturday's Bud 500. We'll be right back.
Do you know what you need to know about managing your money? Take the Wall Street Journal Personal Finance Test and find out. How can you correct an inaccurate credit rating? Why are April and October the most popular months for buying CDs? How long is a personal check valid? You'll find the answers in this free book, The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Personal Finance. The guide is filled with information, from financing your new car to refinancing your home. There's even information on how to lower your taxes. It's yours free when you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Every business day, the Wall Street Journal gives you the news, analysis, and insights you need to make the right decisions for your business, your career, your future. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. Take advantage of this introductory offer. Get 10 weeks of the Journal for just $36 and your free copy of the Guide to Personal Finance. Call 800-336-1111. That's 800-336-1111.
Papa Gino's and Nesson have joined forces to create something truly trivial. Visit your local Papa Gino's, order a large soft drink, and get a 32-ounce Red Sox collectible trivia cup. Name the 4 players whose numbers are retired at Fenway Park. Who was the manager of the '75 Red Sox World Series team? Stump your friends. Quiz your family. It's a 32-ounce challenge. The Red Sox Trivia Challenge Collectible Cup. Available now at a Papa Gino's near you.
Jeff Gordon and crew chief Ray Evernham working on the DuPont Automotive Finishes Chevrolet. Ray is not a crew chief who over the years gets a lot of headlines because he's somewhat new. He's got driving experience. He's worked with IROC. He obviously knows the business. He just hasn't gotten the headlines.
Well, you know, we're both pretty young, and Ray used to race dirt modifieds up in New Jersey around there. Ray is sharp. He is a major key to our success this year, and we plan on keeping him around for a long time. He really knows what he's doing.
That's good to hear. Of course, Jeff has the newer crew chief, Ray Evernham, while Bobby's crew chief is Tim Brewer, and Jeff Hammond is the crew chief for Kenny Wallace. Let's take a question from a visitor here at the Paramount Theater in Bristol. Good evening, Dave. How are you tonight?
Hey, question is for Bobby. How would you compare the high bank racing of Bristol to that of some of the other short tracks?
Well, Bristol, you know, it's 36-degree banks, which I guess is more than Daytona and Talladega, and it puts a lot of strain on you throughout the race. To me, it feels like it's more pushing you down in the seat straight down, where like we go to a flat track like Martinsville. I've noticed after a 500-mile race there, this first time was the first 500-mile race there, it's more of my neck's wanting to go out the right side of the window. That's a big difference to me in the two tracks, you know, a high bank track to a different short track like that. And you know, it just, here it just seems to pound your butt down on the seat a lot. I know that.
They call it the world's fastest half mile, and certainly it is. You know, I was just thinking ahead here to next week with Cale Yarborough. That's why Cale did so well here. And I'm not poking fun. He tells a story about himself. The man has basically no neck. I mean, you know, and that's the deal. I mean, here's one of the few guys who, when he shrugs his shoulders, his ears disappear. And that's why you're able to... Just kidding, Cale. I'll see you next week. But that's really why he's done so well over the years at Bristol. Let's go to Omaha, Nebraska. Joe, good evening to you.
Good evening. How are you guys tonight?
Great, thank you.
Okay, you like great program and everything. I got 2 questions, and this is for all 3 drivers. 2 of you guys have got brothers that are race drivers. 1 don't. Do you follow their style of driving, or are you on your own? And which one of you 3 is going to be the Rookie of the Year?
Okay. Can you, in this business, follow anybody else's style, or do you have to adapt your own?
Well, I've had to adapt my own. You know, I didn't have any older brothers,
right.
But I think even if you have an older brother, you know, I mean, we're friends. We all talk a lot. You still have to make your own doors to get to Winston Cup. This is the level of racing where, you know, it's not easy to get to. Not just anybody is going to get there. So you really have to pave your own way there. But it's real. I don't think that I have any type of driving style like anybody else. I feel like I'm an aggressive driver, though.
How much Terry is in you, and how much Rusty or Mike is in you, Kenny?
Well, you know, first of all, the reason I'm here is because I ran the Busch Grand National Series, and I had to. Rusty didn't run the Busch Grand National Series, so he couldn't really help me a lot on the V6 lighter weight cars. And you know, the competitive spirit, I guess, not because Bobby's sitting next to me, but me and him went at it, you know, for 2 years, and I guess that drew a lot of attention to Felix Sabates, and that's the reason I'm here. So if it was a deal where I went right behind Rusty in every, you know, division he was in, I went into ASA, but, you know, not the Busch Series.
Let's go out to Mesa, Arizona for our next call. Scott, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you, Eli. My question was for Kenny, but the lady in the audience already asked it, so I just want to tell him to get well. And for me, as a fan of his, I'd like to see him join forces with his brother and maybe drive a Miller Genuine Draft Light car.
I just want to say one thing, and this is no lie. Felix Sabates has been great to me, and I'm not saying that because he's my car owner. This guy is a true human being, and I'm hurt right now, and all he wants to do is get me well. It's kind of like Jeff said about Rick Hendricks. I want to be with Felix the rest of my career if it's all possible.
We talk about Max race cards and the Rookie of the Year point standings. Why don't we take a look at how things stack up going into the Bud 500 here in Bristol on Saturday. We're going to come right back. More of your calls tonight live from the Paramount Theater in Bristol, Tennessee. Thanks for being with us on Prime Network. We'll be right back.
Corvette back by Eureka for home or auto. 10 tools included. Power for big jobs, tight spots, extra long cords. Corvette back by Eureka.
NGK spark plugs tuned up my brother's car so well, now he uses them on just about everything.
For the car you drive, for the way you drive. Slick 50, high performance engine formula.
Memphis, California Gold, the finest cleaners, polishes, and finish restorers. Carnauba wax protects and shines. Easy to apply, looks great.
California Gold, there's no shine like Mother's.
Seen it before. The ones who run with the herd. And the one who always seems to run alone. You don't see him often enough, though.
It's for the mountains of blue.
On this weekend. On This Week in NASCAR, Bobby Labonte mentioned a short while ago the run at Talladega. There he is on the low side of the racetrack behind Kyle Petty. And if memory serves, you started shotgun on the field. You started all the way back and clawed your way to the front. That was a heck of a day for you.
No, I tell you what, that was a real big day for the whole Bill Davis Maxwell House team. You know, that really put a charge in our batteries. You know, it just helped out.
You know, it's amazing. As much of a veteran group as you guys are, even though you're new in Winston Cup racing, it's still amazing how guys like Bill Davis, Tim Brewer, any of the veterans with an extra win or a good showing, it really does put a little extra spring in the step. You'd think some of these guys would be hardened to that by now.
Well, I tell you, it's for us. I mean, that was awful good. I mean, we just we really needed something like that. You know, a shot in the arm, and
sure.
You know, anybody needs it, whether they been there for 20 years and they haven't run good for a while or whatever. So. You know, that was just a good day.
We want to welcome those of you now joining us after watching the Texas Rangers and the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox coming out on top in that one. We welcome you to Bristol, Tennessee. We're spending time this evening with 3 of the NASCAR rookie battlers here in 1993. The man who currently leads the Max race card standings, Jeff Gordon, along with Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace. Let's go to Petal, Mississippi for our next question. Carolyn, watching on Sports South. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
I would like to ask Jeff Gordon a question, if I may. I'd like to tell him that we're very big fans of his, and we've watched his career for a long time. And what I would like to know is there a big difference in driving the Indianapolis racetrack than other shorter tracks that he normally drives, and are the cars set up totally different for that track?
Well, you know, I mean, we really didn't know what to expect going into that racetrack. You know, 4 corners, long straightaways, short chutes in between the corners. Nobody really knew exactly how to set the cars up. So we kind of just went at it with a basic setup and just started throwing things at it to see what it does.
Did all of you fellows shift? Did you all, because I heard most of the guys were shifting gears. As we stood there on pit lane, we could hear you coming down the long main straightaway. Did you all go to the gear shift?
I tried both ways.
Was it a decided advantage? Were you that much quicker?
I think in the race, shifting is going to be a little bit better as the pace starts to drop down, but qualifying, we found the right gear where I ran the fastest without shifting.
And you seemed to get a little more at home shifting. I remember at Watkins Glen, you ran probably the best road race that I remember. You seem to be a little more comfortable with that element of the business.
Well, it's like I tell the guys, the less stuff I have to do in the car, the better off I'll be. So, you know, Yeah, you know, you go to Pocono where we do the shifting, and I don't know. I found most of the people in Indianapolis, from what I heard, you know, from Kyle Petty's team, my brother's team, not shifting was the fastest way. I think the reason being is that that's not an oval, and all you do is go through a half of a corner, and so you get to keep your momentum up there, and you really don't get the RPMs down like you do at Pocono coming up off of turn 3.
Let's go out to Littleton, Colorado for our next call. Jeff, good evening.
Good evening, you guys. I just wanted to say hi to all the rookies and wish them good luck this year. This is kind of a two-part question. Any of you guys can take it, actually. When you guys come into the pit and you guys change the right side tires, it seems like the guys in the pits, they don't remove the right front tire. Is there any purpose for that? It just kind of lays out there and, you know, you guys go ahead and take off. And the next question is for Jeff. Oh, back when he was about 9 years old or something, he used to race go-karts, and he was in a magazine called Action Now. He probably doesn't remember it, but they had an article on go-kart racing, and they also had an article on BMX racing, and they had a story about me in it, and it just so happened Jeff's picture was right next to mine, and my little boy just loves that go-kart stuff. And
I'll tell you, go-karts is not unusual. We had Lake Speed on the show a few weeks ago. He won the World Karting Championship at Le Mans, France. So there's no set way how to succeed in this business, is there?
No, I think you just have to get in it as young as you can and just get started. And you know, if you've got a knack for it, then you're going to continue. And if not, you're going to move on to something else that you might be a little bit better at.
How many different systems of pit stops does a team work on? I was surprised last year, and I told the folks on this program a year ago, I was up at the Dale Earnhardt shop mid-season doing another project, and here was the Flying Aces, one of the best crews in the business, mid-season out back practicing pit stops. Does your team work on that on a regular basis?
Yeah, they do. The Bill Davis team, they work on it. You know, not every person in the shop does all the pit crew stuff, but they, a couple guys out of town, they do it, but they practice all they can. And you know, try to get as good as they can every week, because when guys are doing 16-second pit stops, you got to keep up. And
track position is such a big story nowadays. We're going to come right back and continue with our Rookie of the Year candidates for 1993. We're live here in Bristol, where tomorrow night the Food City 250 is set to go for the NASCAR Busch Series, Saturday the Bud 500. As we leave you now, here's a look at the NASCAR manufacturers' point standings for the NASCAR Winston Cup division. We'll be right back.
Parts.
Do you have custom running boards?
Do you carry gas shocks?
Do you sell Holly carbs?
Do you have chrome wheels?
Neon kits? Lift kits?
Stereos?
Turbo muffler?
Tarmac?
Jeep top?
Front filters? Pinstripe?
Slick 50?
Bug shield?
Yes, for clear coat paints, use Mother's Clear Care. Easy and effective. You'll enjoy maximum shine and protection for months from the Clear Image series by Mother's.
For high-performance off-road or traditional replacement parts and accessories, visit your nearest Key Parts Auto stores or call 1-800-AUTO-PARTS.
Mother's California Gold, the finest cleaners, polishes, and finish restorers. Carnauba wax protects and shines. Easy to apply, looks great.
California Gold, there's no shine like Mother's.
It's a crazy world. There's light this and light that. There's even light gasoline. That's right, light gas. Stuff that makes your engine knock and ping. 104 plus octane boost turns light gas into raw power. 104 plus knocks out knocks and pings, removes clogging engine deposits, and increases horsepower up to 30%. Turn your engine loose. do some boost.
Yes, available at all Key Parts Auto stores or call 1-800-AUTO-PARTS.
Michigan International Speedway just a couple of weeks ago, a battle right there for second place between Jeff Gordon and Morgan Shepherd. I think even the bigger story is the fact you had to go to a backup car and you got it up to second place right there in that battle. I guess everybody wished they had backup cars like that.
Well, I lost that battle. We had to go to the backup car because of practice. We were making the qualifying run. I think we had actually a better car than that. That we had to load up in the truck because we wrecked it.
Do most backup cars roll off the truck pretty darn close? I mean, do you, by design, prepare the backup car for that track, or do you just kind of throw it on the truck and thrash on it should you need it? What's the normal scenario?
I think it just depends on the team situation. There's a lot of teams that are prepared and have 8 or 9 race cars ready to go. There's a lot of teams that, you know, are ready for that type of situation at all the times, and most of our cars that we load up are ready to go either way. You know, they're ready to go, but they don't have a motor in it.
Keith is up next with a question, joining us here at the Paramount Theater. Hello.
Hi, Eli.
Hello
Hey,
there.
rookies, how you doing?
All right.
Hi, America.
All the comedians out of work, and we got Keith here.
This is my chance.
He'll be opening here at the Paramount next week. What can we do for you?
Well, you guys were talking about loyalty towards, you know, like Ford and Chevys. It wasn't any big deal to you. How about loyalty to car owners? And do any of you particularly like to drive a yellow race car?
Of course, we should establish for the folks who don't know is that the yellow car he's talking about, yellowish orangish, is the Ernie Irvin car based in Abington, Virginia, just a stone's throw from here. That's been one of the more intriguing stories, but as you fellas have all well established, you know, you're happy where you are and happy to be there. You've got to develop that loyalty, I would think. I think so. You know, I've built a good relationship with Rick Hendrick. We've talked about the future. I mean, we've talked, you know, Chevrolet. I was talking with Jim Perkins from Chevrolet, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago at Indianapolis, whenever that, one or two. You know, and I talked to Rick a lot about the future, and I think we have a strong loyalty to each other right now to be together for a long time, even though we do have a long-term contract also. But, you know, loyalty, I think, it doesn't always, you know, I think it should be with the manufacturer, but I think the car owner is very important, and the crew chief. I think somebody you can communicate really well with, you need to hold on to. But at the same time, we should establish the fact that what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another, and if a driver feels it's time to move on, if a crew feels it's time to go everybody's own separate way, then in the long run, that's best for them. So we're not here pointing fingers, just explaining the different situations. We're going to come right back and continue with these fellas. We take your calls and comments tonight on This Week in NASCAR, so don't leave us now. We're back after this.
There's something you should know that no broker is going to tell you. You can use dividend reinvestment plans to invest directly in companies and bypass brokers entirely. I'm not telling you this so you can avoid broker's commission. It's just so you'll know that even a small investor can have a diversified portfolio. You can invest in companies from Abbott Labs to Zurn, and every penny will go toward buying stock. You are the only one to benefit from your investment.
Call now. Finally available under one cover, every company with a dividend reinvestment plan and everything you need to get started investing. All for only $9. Plus you get a free copy of The Money Paper, the monthly guide for the self-reliant investor.
Remember, it's easy to buy stock without using a stockbroker.
Call 1-800-352-2121 with your Visa or MasterCard ready.
This information-packed source book could save you thousands in broker's commissions and improve your investment results.
Sometimes life seems more complete when you're with the one you love.
A healthy head of hair can give you the added confidence to enjoy life to the fullest. If you're looking for the answer to your hair loss, call Pro Hair Medical Group today. Pro Hair Medical Group treats all causes of hair loss for men and women, and they are experts in the field of microsurgical hair transplantation that will grow hair for the rest of your life. Get the facts. Call Pro Hair Medical Group now for a free consultation.
Despite his protests of the less I can do in the car, the better, here's Watkins Glen and the Dirt Devil Pontiac for Kenny Wallace, and you're making some pretty good moves around some pretty darn good road racers right there.
Well, that's a new car. It was built by Ronnie Hopkins, and I was really excited. That car really handled well, and that was just a really good day for us. It really was.
Kenny Wallace joining us along with Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon. Our next phone call is from Sterling Heights, Michigan, as we head out to a listener and viewer on the pass system. Hello, Ken. How are you tonight? What's your question up in Sterling Heights, Michigan? Hello, Ken. Are you there? Apparently couldn't stay with us. 1-800-292-5551. Our phone numbers are with you tonight from Bristol, Tennessee. Let's go to Jeff in North Wilkesboro with a question. Hello. Hello, Jeff. Good evening to you.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
My question is simply this. With Goodyear dominating NASCAR, do you think there will ever be another tire company getting involved with NASCAR again, or do you think they're going to stick with the Busch Grand Nationals?
Certainly, Hoosier Tire announcing officially this past Tuesday that they'll be the tires on the Ward Burton Winston Cup car. There's currently Hoosier and Goodyear to choose from in the NASCAR Busch Series. A difficult scenario, do you expect? Again, we talk about corporate loyalties. We saw that a number of years ago, and the changing from one week to the next. It's just going to be a tough situation to try and figure out which tire is best and what to do on a given weekend.
It's going to open up, I'll be truthful to you. It's going to open up a big can of worms, because it's a deal where the sport and NASCAR are really doing a good job economically, and limiting us right now to 3 sets of tires per practice session. Now this is going to be a situation where we have to take a look at it, because and now we might have to mount up 6 sets of tires. But I know in our case, I'm very loyal to Goodyear, but in other people's case, it might happen.
And let's establish also it's not unique to NASCAR, because next year the Indy 500 Firestone tires will be available should competitors choose to use them along with the Goodyear Eagles. Let's go out to Carson City, Nevada for a question. Edie, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Great, thank you.
I just want to say we appreciate your show, and I was wondering why NASCAR continues to carry Davey Allison in the point standings. Most organizations that I've been involved with don't do that after a person is deceased.
Well, because Davey, as the driver of record, is still in that position. Had the season ended today, then the dollars that would go with that position would go either contractually to Robert Yates or to Liz Allison and the family. So there has to be someone in that point position slot, and Davey Allison has not been bypassed by anyone at this point. So that's why NASCAR does it as it does. Now down to the state of Georgia for a question, a viewer on Sports South. Good evening. How are you tonight?
Hi, Eli.
Hi, Casey.
I'd like to say congratulations and good luck to every driver, especially Bobby Labonte, since my family is very much Ford-oriented. My question is out for all three. How hard was it to make the transition from Busch Grand National Racing to NASCAR racing?
Was it more difficult? I won't even bother asking you. Your first race, you go out and you win the qualifier, basically your first race. Was it really, though, was it a handful? Do the weight differences and all make a whole heck of a lot of difference?
I think it was, for me, it was a transition that I had to go through. I had to learn something different again. It felt like, and it's nothing that I have learned. I'm still learning, that's for sure, but it's different. I mean, you just go through a different phase. Now you're going longer races, you go up heavier cars, more horsepower. It just takes a little bit.
That's one of the big things. You hit on the physical preparedness of the longer races, 2 hours versus 4.5 at Dover or something. Was that a major situation?
It was a situation that we looked at real hard in the wintertime. That's why we got to working out, and all three of us here, you know, Beans were, you know, not the biggest guys in the world, you know. We work out, and as far as, you know, coming from the Busch Series to Winston Cup, yes, it's a change, and it's been pretty rough on me, and you know, I think we'll just get better.
At the same time, all three of them, as Kenny said, all three of these fellows stepping in very nicely. Let's go to Grand Island, Nebraska. Kelly, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
I was just wondering if I could get a fan club address for Jeff Gordon.
Is there a fan club in place right now?
There is. I don't know the specific address. It's in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Well, the best thing that we could suggest that you do is contact Hendrick Motorsports in Charlotte, North Carolina, and get the address through them. As Jeff said, the fan club is headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. But contact Hendrick Motorsports or the team of any of your favorite drivers, and they'll be able to provide that address to you. We're going to break away here, but as we do, again, a quick reminder that next week, Cale Yarborough is going to be our special guest, opening up the doors to his beautiful home in Olathe, South Carolina, prior to the running of the Southern 500 at Darlington. That's by invitation only. I know a ton of you folks would love to join us there in person, but I don't think Betty Jo would appreciate that, if nothing else. So tune in right here on Prime Network. Then in 2 weeks, come on by and join us at the Holiday Inn Airport in Richmond, Virginia, for more of This Week in NASCAR. Right now, as we leave you, let's take a look at the broadcast schedule for this weekend's races here at Bristol. Live coverage from ESPN and MRN Radio. Here's the schedule. Take a look.
Sometimes life seems more complete when you're with the one you love. A healthy head of hair can give you the added confidence to enjoy life to the fullest. If you're looking for the answer to your hair loss, call Pro Hair Medical Group today. Pro Hair Medical Group treats all causes of hair loss for men and women, and they are experts in the field of microsurgical hair transplantation that will grow hair for the rest of your life. Get the facts. Call Pro Hair Medical Group now for a free consultation.
$58, $58, $59, $59, $60, $1, $61, $2, $3, $3, $4, $4, $5, $2, $3, $3, $4, $5, $1,
The 9X Business-to-Business Directory, where one business finds another.
You people have robbed me blind. I haven't lost any weight. I'm as big as a house. Look at me. I'm a hippo, an elephant, a blimp. Oh, my goodness. I'm a hunk. I'm a stud. Look at me. I can't believe it.
The 9X Business-to-Business Directory, where one business finds another.
It's the toughest game on 2 feet as the Madmen from down under make their mark, battling head-to-head, staking their claim as kings of the continent. Australian rules football, every week on Prime Network.
The beautiful Paramount Theater here in Bristol, Tennessee, reopened after $2.5 million worth of renovations, and we thank all the folks here at the Paramount for allowing us to be part of their activities here, and the Food City folks who have been so very gracious as part of their family race days here in Bristol today. Back to the phones now and to Sonia in Palmdale, California. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. How you doing? I would like to say congratulations to all the rookies, and I'm a big Davey Allison fan, and my love and thoughts are with the family, and I would like to know if the Chevys definitely have an advantage over the Fords with the front spoiler, and if Ford is going to do anything different next year.
All right, so Kenny, you can sit out and listen to this one. First, let's go to the Ford camp and get your thoughts.
Evidently they do. but we're gonna get you back. I was at a new car show at Ford in San Diego Wednesday, and they've got a new the Thunderbird body's out. It's a little bit different than it was last year. The nose is a little bit different, but you know, still you have to figure out what NASCAR's gonna let you do. So hopefully we'll get what we need.
Of course, the Lumina is a pretty stout race car in its own right.
Well, mine is.
Yeah.
I've been very happy with mine.
I would bet.
But, you know, I truthfully I don't feel like if you go out and you have a Ford race car, you're going to run, you know, as well as all the other Fords. Or if you buy a Chevrolet, you're going to run just as good as all the other Chevrolets. It's all based on the people you've got behind the scenes.
That's true.
And who all is working around. I think a lot of it is based on the team.
Let's go to Warren, Michigan for our next question. Hello, Bob. How are you? Hello, Bob. Apparently he was wondering about the... oh, you're there. Apparently couldn't stay with us. Let's go to Ligonier, Pennsylvania now for our next question. Good evening.
Hello, Eli?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I really enjoy your show.
Thank you, Chuck.
My question's for Jeff Gordon. I'm a big-time Chevrolet fan. Anybody who'd ever stepped foot in my dad's body shop, Chuck's Body Shop in Sword, Pennsylvania, could tell you that. My question is, Jeff, you come from a open-wheel racing past. Up here we have a lot of sprint cars that are really big up here. Any chance of you possibly running in the outlaw shows? They're talking about at I think it's at Port Royal next year, about $1 million to win show. Any chance of you coming into something like that, or would your contract not allow?
Well, it's not necessarily in my contract. I was just at the Knoxville Nationals. They had that last week, and you know, enjoyed that. I didn't race. I just was there as a spectator and enjoyed myself. But really, I'm just going to stick with Winston Cup. I'm not even going to run any Busch Grand National races this year, possibly next year. Trying to get into the Winston Cup routine has been tough. It's a hectic schedule.
Sure.
The only open wheel race that I know of that I'm going to do, and it's probably the one I'm going to stick with, is the Hoosier Dome Invitational Midget Race over the winter.
Let's go up to Bristol, Connecticut for our next call. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. My question's for Jeff Gordon. I've noticed that you draft very well with Dale Earnhardt on the super speedways. I'm curious on why Dale Earnhardt, and is there something between the two of you where he's teaching you or you're learning from him or what?
He's a great guy to learn from. You can learn a lot from, you know, riding behind Dale, especially at the super speedways. The guy is amazing. I mean, he can almost drive the car around the track looking in his mirror. You know, he's the hardest guy there is to pass out there. But for some reason, you know, my car, it seems like even at Daytona and Talladega, was more of a car that didn't like the lead. It was the pack was faster when somebody like Dale Earnhardt or Dale Jarrett led the pack. So you know, and nobody's going to pass Earnhardt, so I figure if I stay behind him, then nobody's going to pass me.
Jeff Gordon with an honest answer as we break away now with a look at the folks who make this show possible each and every week, our sponsors. We're coming right back.
This Week in NASCAR has been brought to you by the Heartbeat of America Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer. By Kendall Motor Oil, pour in the protection. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
Oh, hey there, Grandpa. How's the old truck running?
Never been better. Oh, I brought your graduation present by. Well, it's been in the family a long time.
Kendall Motor Oil. It's good stuff. Thanks, Gramps. I'm not quite sure what to say.
Well, that and this old truck kind of go together. It's yours, as long as you take care of it.
Look for the newest members of the Kendall NASCAR racing team, Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. There isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
Mountain man survival skills. The basics. A true mountain man must have a keen sense of direction, a certain physical dexterity, and a talent for surviving the most unforgiving climates. Of course, nothing is more key to a mountain man's survival than plenty of smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and learn how the mountain man survives even the most grueling conditions.
It's Rugby World, all season on Prime.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It's been great, and I think we're all excited as you are performing out there each week. It's been great watching you guys in the rookie year, and all the best for years to come.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Eli.
Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace, our special guests this evening. Don't forget the Food City 250 at Bristol tomorrow night for the NASCAR Busch Series, the Bud 500 on Saturday. Next week, we'll be at Cale Yarborough's home in Olathe, South Carolina, taking your calls and comments again. For all of us here in Bristol, the fine folks at the Paramount Theater, and all of our hosts from Food City, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks for being here. Good night, everybody.
This Week in NASCAR was provided facilities for production and accommodations by Food City, proud sponsor of the Food City 250. Race in today.